All right, pre-show cheers. Cheers to you.
And cheers to you.
Oh, man. Really good stuff.
That's the way to get an episode started.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, Internet. And welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Let's recap the University of Utah at Baylor and also talk about their upcoming game with the Weber State Wildcats.
In the MLB, who's hot, who's not, and which divisions are heating up down the stretch.
And the United States loses in the FIBA Cup. What happened?
All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
If you are part of the 95% of our audience that is not subscribed, please consider doing so. Thank you.
All right. So let's go ahead and first talk a little bit about, let's talk about the University of Utah.
Yeah, man. It's been quite the week for the Utes. That was a scary game there at Baylor.
Yes, it was. Once again, the Utah defense really holding it down, keeping Baylor scoreless in the second half to basically keep Utah in it.
The Utah offense in this Baylor game struggled is the understatement of the century for that game, dude. You guys saw it. We saw it. I was sincerely concerned that the Utes that Kyle Whittingham and company were never going to take Bryson Barnes out of the game and actually give the Utes a chance to win.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of foreshadowing there when the first offensive play of the game was offsides call. Sorry, delay game penalty right out the gates. That's not a good sign. So that was a little bit of foreshadowing there. But, how much of that, let me ask you that, how much of that do you think that's Bryson Barnes, or how much of that is just first game being on the road jitters for this season?
I mean, I think a lot of it probably is like on the road jitters. Baylor is a big time stadium. There's a ton of people. That place was packed. It was really, really hot. And I mean, honestly, on a delay of game, that could be as much as they just couldn't understand what the call was coming in or something like that. So, but that was a big time environment for Bryson Barnes, who, I mean, he's played some big games. He's been in the Rose Bowl, but like a big time road game like that, to be the starter, to have all the pressure in the world, have everybody talking about you. I am not sure that he was exactly ready for that moment.
No, I'd have to agree. He went 6 for 19 for 71 yards passing. He did throw a pick.
He did throw. I mean, his QBR in that game finished out at 8.9.
That's not good, right?
No, that's not good at all. No, you should be up in the 90s.
But let's go ahead and talk about the Utah defense. Let's shift back to that for a second, then we'll get into the offense in the second half.
Okay.
So the Utes do hold Baylor scoreless, and not only in the first quarter, but also in the second half completely. They did not pick up even a field goal in the second half at all. And I do believe that it's the defense that were the keys to this, to them winning the game, with getting two key interceptions, basically, down the stretch in the second half to really kind of turn this game around.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is, it's said all the time, but that's the identity of this Utah football team. They hang their hat on being able to get a stop when they need one, shutting down the run game, being locked down on the corners, forcing you into really tough positions where you have to, I mean, you've got to burn them. You know what I mean? Like that's you might see a couple breakups in coverage, but if you're not willing to take that pass and throw it over top of their heads, you're not going to beat this Utah football team.
No.
And when you saw that, like you absolutely saw that in this football game.
Yeah, which is really odd because it's a tale of two tapes on Utah's defense. This between Florida and Baylor, you had 5 sacks in the Florida game, no sacks in the Baylor game. Yet I'd have to say that there was just as impressive on the defensive end against Baylor, keeping them from scoring in the second half, than they were in the first week against Florida. What do you think? I
totally agree. There was a ton of effort on the defensive side of the ball. That Baylor offensive line, they came out with a purpose, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, those guys were holding their blocks. They were trying to give Sawyer Robertson as much time as they could for him to have, to make his reads and be like, their run attack was really clobbering the Utes in the beginning of the game. I mean, they were picking up 7-8 yards every rush, and I was worried they just weren't going to stop. Like, I think some of the things that actually helped the Utes in that game is they decided to let Sawyer Robertson start throwing the football. Right. So, when he goes 12 for 28, which is very substandard for a a Division I quarterback, but I mean, you're facing a really, really tough, obviously, Utah defense. But I mean, he does throw for 218 yards in this game. So you're not going to be upset about on 12 passes to throw 218 yards is pretty impressive. So he did a really good job, honestly, of getting the ball down the field. I mean, he took advantage of some of the Utes' mistakes, and his O-line held up and, continued to give him an opportunity to be successful. But that D-line was sending a ton of pressure, and I really liked that they continued to be aggressive and kind of getting after him. They didn't get any sacks, but they were after him the whole night.
Yeah. I would have to say my player of the game would definitely be Cole Bishop. With that interception, with the defense continuing to pressure the quarterback all game long. Cole stayed, out in no man's land there. Watched the quarterback see where he was throwing and then just went after it and got it. Like he was, I just think that was the play of the game, in my opinion, for sure.
Yep, I agree. And then, I mean, to flip over to the offensive side of the ball for Utah, I really like Jaquindon Jackson's. I mean, he kind of had a breakout game. He rushed 129 yards on 19 carries. He looked at times just unstoppable, like a man amongst boys. I mean, he was running people over. I'm really, really excited about Jaquindon Jackson here in the future.
Oh yeah, they really did take advantage of this kind of soft coverage that Baylor had on Utah.
Yep,
it's almost they were playing to not get hit with the big play.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, and that's just not how you. I mean, when you have a 3rd and 6 and you're converting that on a run play, Utah's going to feel pretty good about their running game.
Absolutely. I mean, Nate Johnson was obviously the star of this game. He was the hero that we needed in that moment. We just needed anybody to come in with a little bit of confidence, and that's really what I think Bryson Barnes missed, was just confidence. But Nate Johnson, I mean, they turned at the end of the game over to him and said, "Okay, Nate, we need 6."
Oh yeah.
And he came in, went 6 for 7 on that drive, drove him pretty much all the way up the field, and put it in the end zone.
Yeah, the story was about with 10 minutes left in the game, Cam Rising went over to him, put his arm around him, said, "You're not coming out of this game. The rest of the game is yours." And then they scored twice in the last 2 minutes of the game, which is fantastic. Nate Johnson did go 6 for 7 for a total of 82 yards, 6 carries for a total of 45 yards. So 184 total rushing yards. Not perfect performance by Nate, but pretty damn near perfect final drive of the game, to get past for his touchdown run. So
yep, I think Nate Johnson's just a big time rhythm player, and he's exactly what the Utes are going to need if Cam Rising's not able to go against Weber State. So speaking about Weber State, let's talk about the upcoming game this week, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're the number 7 ranked team in the FCS rankings. They're 2-0 so far. They've got wins against Central Washington and Northern Iowa. I watched some tape on these guys. They are a good football team. I mean, by the FCS standard, they're very good. Their quarterback, Kylan Weiser, has 23 completions and 43 attempts. He's thrown for 295 yards in their 2 games, thrown 2 touchdowns, only had 1 interception. Their running back, Damon Bankston, is very, very tough. He's got 263 yards in 2 games. He was just named the Big Sky Player of the Week, so dude can play. They've also got a wide receiver, Jaylene Record. Dude's only 5'8", which is not a very big person, but he's got 73 yards on 3 catches only, and he'd had a fantastic touchdown catch against Central Washington that is like arguably like play of the year stuff, dude. It was insane. This is one of those games that's a scheduled win for Utah. They're going to be very much overmatched with athleticism when it comes to playing this really big, really talented University of Utah team. These guys have absolutely nothing to lose on the football field. They come in and upset number 12 Utah. Yeah, they've got nothing to lose. Is it realistic? Probably not. I bet you the Utes are favored by 20 or 21 points in this game. So I haven't seen the opening line.
They don't release lines against them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, FBS versus FCS schools, they don't release the line.
Okay, that would actually make sense.
So I actually found that out today, that the NCAA doesn't allow them to release odds on those. So I'm like, wow, really? Did not know that. Which explains why I couldn't find any. So, but by the way, I would like to call back to the Baylor game. I would like to say that I called the line and I called the over/under. My score was almost bang on.
Yeah,
and I also did call the under. So
you did.
Nailed it.
You nailed it. That was pretty good, actually. You nailed it right on.
DNA Sports Recap, first try.
Yep, first try every time.
You guys got to come to us, man. We do not give betting advice.
No, well,
we definitely do not give.
We try
advice.
Not to. Please.
We will state our opinion, and that is it.
That is all our opinion is.
Let's also talk a little bit about this game and what it means. Like we were talking a little about before the show about this type of game, and that we really need to kind of enjoy these games while they still last. I mean, this is going to be huge for Weber State to have this kind of game, because in a couple of years, when the inevitability of college football going the way it's going to go, you're not going to see Power 5 teams playing FCS schools anymore. And this major payday that Weber State's going to get out of this game, they're not going to see going forward. these games are going to go away. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good thing for college football fans because you want to see teams lining up with teams that match their ability level every single week. But I think it also kind of ruins some of these lower level, like it helps the Weber State University to come down to Utah and get that payday and continue to fund a football program that's growing, that is, obviously a lower level, but those guys are giving student athletes an opportunity to earn a degree and continue to move on, in life. So I don't know. I understand that college football is a business and it's geared around making money, but I don't like all of it.
Yeah, me either.
So
I don't like it, but on the same time, does it really impact you, the fan? Probably not.
No.
We want to know what you think, folks. Make sure you leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you were looking forward to in this week when it comes to Utah versus Weber State. We did mention last week on the previous episode what we would like to see come out of this game. I would like to see, if Cam Rising is healthy, I would like to see him maybe play the first quarter just to get some game time speed reps and then yank him out of there and let Nate Johnson have the rest of the snaps for the remainder of the game.
Yep.
Maybe get Bryson Barnes in there a little bit to try and get the bad taste out of his mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Once this game's, we're up 40 points, Bryson Barnes can come back in and throw the football around all he wants.
There you go. In the comments down below, what you're looking forward to this week. And we'll go from there.
Absolutely.
All right.
Set change. Reclap.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, shall we?
Absolutely. My favorite thing.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, you caught me off guard there. There's no way that's your favorite thing.
For all you true DNA Sports Recap fans, you guys are fully aware that baseball's Darren's thing, right? That's his thing to do. AJ's here to talk about Utah Utes football and Utah Jazz basketball. I am right on.
Nice.
Major League Baseball is going to be Darren.
Yeah.
I'm here for comic relief when it comes to the MLB. Okay. It's comical how much I don't know.
I've watched both Utah football games.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched preseason football, NFL football.
I've watched a lot of NFL football this year, actually.
You can't catch Major League Baseball games?
They're not on my TV. That's all there is to it. They're not on. I don't know what to tell you, Darren. My TV can't even find MLB games.
It's a lie. Colorado Rockies games are on the exact same channel the Jazz channel.
I don't even have the Jazz games yet. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's true. It's fine.
It's be fun going forward though. All right, great baseball talk. All right, moving right along.
Moving along.
2 hours later.
But let's go ahead and first talk about the Texas Rangers. Like, I want to bring them up just because, what the heck happened over there? I mean, we have been talking about them, not necessarily all year, but we did mention like the June 1st thing, that whoever's in first place in June 1st, 60% of the time, they will own their,
60% of the time, every time
they will be in first place at the end of the year. And I said that the Texas Rangers would be the ones to fall out and the Houston Astros would have the first place. And that's basically kind of what happened.
Nailed it.
Yeah, which is a little weird. Well, there's still 20 games to play left and there's a whole lot of things going on, but
and as of today, they have won 4 games in a row.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're trying to turn it around. They're doing their best to right the ship.
Well, recently they did lose 8 games in a row. So they went on a huge losing streak there and did fall out of first place for a while. And ironically enough, Seattle Mariners were in first place for a game or 2.
Wow.
In the division for a while, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, so they did lose a bunch of games in a row, which caused, and Houston Astros won a bunch of games, and Seattle also went on some tear to catch up a little bit. So now we've got like a three-team race in the AL West out there, which I think is pretty impressive. Now they also lost a big series against the Houston Astros, which didn't help their cause.
Right.
They did lose a whole bunch of games in a row, but Houston wasn't necessarily right on. But when they did a series against them, they did lose that series, in which Jose Altuve actually hit a home run per inning for the first 3 innings of a game.
For real?
Yeah.
He hit 3 home runs in one game?
3 home runs in the first 3 innings of one game. So in the first, he hit a home run.
Who was pitching
in the second?
The Rangers. That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. Actually, we're going to talk about their pitching here in a second. But yeah, so at the time of recording right now, the Houston Astros are in first by a game and a half, or 1 game up. So they are the Texas Rangers are a game back. They do have a half game lead in the wild card over Seattle. So right now, Seattle has a half game behind in the wild card. They're a game and a half behind in the American League West, and the Rangers are also a game behind. So that's a tight race.
Yeah.
Also, we said that whoever wins the division, the other 2 teams will probably get the wild card. Well, the Rays are not stopping to win. All of a sudden, they came out of nowhere and started playing again. So now they are back in it. So they have a 2-game lead on the first wild card spot. And then the other 2 spots are going to slide into these other 2. So not all 3 of these teams are going to make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the series, the division to watch down the stretch is definitely going to be the American League West between the Texas Rangers, the Houston Astros, and the Seattle Mariners, which we're going to talk about all 3 of those teams, by the way, in just a second. Let's stay with the Texas Rangers and talk about some bad news. Mad Max has been shut down for the rest of the regular season with arm soreness.
Arm soreness?
Who saw that coming?
Is that a thing? Your arm's just sore and you don't play the rest of the year?
Yeah, what is he, like 80 years old? And,
Poor Max.
Oh, yeah. When he was a Dodger, we traded for him in 2021. He complained that we didn't use him enough. And then in the postseason, he had dead arm. And so he couldn't pitch. Now in Texas, he's willing to be shut down for the rest of the season so he can be ready for the playoffs.
It's a no-go. I'm ready.
I'm just like, are you joking?
Oh, so he's only out for the rest of the regular season. He'll be back for playoffs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they're going to keep him. They're just basically going to shut him down for now, and hopefully he'll be ready for the playoffs with arm soreness. But we'll see. I don't know. What's your take on that race out there?
I love it when these things get super close because it makes it way more fun to watch. Right.
Yeah.
Every single game kind of means something from every aspect. So no, it's gonna be fun to watch these teams coming through for sure.
The Houston Astros have basically come back to put themselves back in the hunt there. They're in first place, so it's gonna be fun to see that happen down the stretch. Now let's go ahead and pivot over to who's hot in Major League Baseball. So let's talk about the Atlanta Braves. So
Go Braves.
As of today, at the time of recording, they are the first one to clinch a playoff berth. So basically, if they lost every game for the rest of the season, they still would be
shut everyone down.
They'd still be a wild card team. Now, you don't want to do that because who's really hot on their heels right now? Because right now the Braves are 16 games ahead in their division. So the chance of them losing every game but still falling out of wild card, not likely, not possible,
right.
Mathematically impossible. But the Dodgers have a 13-game lead in their division, so they're not too far behind. Their magic number as of time of recording is 4, so that means any Diamondbacks losses or any Dodgers wins that add up to 4 means Dodgers clinch as well. So
the Dodgers are right there.
Dodgers are right there.
Okay.
So probably by the time this video comes out, they will be clinched as well. So
all it takes is a couple of losses.
Yeah. So it's really funny because those were basically the two main teams there. They were coming out of the West. They had a head-to-head matchup last weekend, and the Braves took 3 out of the 4. So
yeah.
It was an interesting series. Definitely a preview to the postseason for sure.
Yeah, the Dodgers did avoid the sweep, though.
Yes, they did. Yeah. Love to see you in the NLCS. That'd be a lot of fun. We mentioned it a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty dope to see those teams go. Maybe we'll stream one of those games. We'll do a watch party live for you guys.
Yeah. Comment down below. Let us know what you think.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and talk about who else is hot. And that would actually be the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's have won 10.
Hold on, check your notes. Is that correct?
Yes, I can.
You're sure about
I can read baseball stats just fine. But the Oakland A's have won 10 out of their last 19 games, which is above 500 baseball, which is really good for that team right now.
What changed?
What changed? I think the reverse boycotts. I think the realization that this could be one of the last dances that they have a team in Oakland. Who else is left out in Oakland?
Do you think the fans started showing up and it's maybe giving them a little bit of juice?
I think it's that. I think everybody's playing for a contract. It's the end of the year. They're bringing up their prospects and giving them a chance to play, and they're really showing their spot. So
kind of energized everybody a little bit.
Yeah. So I just think
are they out of playoff contention?
Oh yeah, it's more likely that the Angels will win the World Series than it is that the A's will qualify.
Okay.
So it's that bad. So
gotcha.
But yeah, so good job, Oakland A's fans. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Vegas so I can go see a couple of games closer than, and
that's right. We love the road trip down there.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Do some live vlogging there. But yeah, let us know in the comments down below, folks, what you think, what you're looking forward to in Major League Baseball as far as moving forward with the rest of the season. Who are you seeing as a team to keep an eye on down the home stretch? Again, plenty of teams that are still hunting for that wild card spot. Plenty of teams that are still hunting for their division. And yeah, it's really fun in the MLB Central. You have Yelich and Cody Bellinger, who were head-to-head for MVPs in 2019 and 2018. Now in the same division, battling for that division. And the other teams, and if they're out, then the other team would be trying to get a wild card spot.
That's super cool. Actually,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us know out there what you guys think as far as what's fun to watch going down the stretch. And yeah, let us know what you think there for sure. Talk about payroll, shall we?
Yeah.
So the top 5 payrolls in baseball are the New York Mets, the New York Yankees, the San Diego Padres, the Phillies, and the Dodgers. So it's the top 5 payrolls in baseball. Out of those 5, only 3 of them have not been eliminated from postseason contention as of today.
Wow.
And that's the Philadelphia Phillies and the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, and I would argue the Dodgers, actually, they didn't have to pay, if they weren't owed, if they didn't have to pay Trevor Bauer's $20 million contract this year, they wouldn't even be in the top 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would be in like 8th place, right next to the Braves.
That Trevor Bauer contract's still haunting them. Huh?
Yeah, still haunting them there a little bit. For sure.
But really, I mean, the Dodgers are playing well.
Yeah.
The only thing that's haunting them is like obviously the payroll side of it.
Payroll side of it,
Yeah.
and we could really use a starting pitcher. But
Like a Trevor Bauer quality starting pitcher?
yes, but not right now because he's actually shut down for the rest of the season. He got injured.
Of
So,
course he did.
Sorry, Trevor.
Make sure you guys check out our Trevor Bauer video. It's excellent.
We have a Trevor Bauer video.
We did a whole video on Trevor Bauer.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Shows you how much I'm paying attention.
Take me home.
Nice. But yeah, so again, top 5 just shows you, just goes to show you, man, money's not you can't buy championships. You know, I would say that there are those 3 teams that are not in playoff contention that basically bought their players, are just trying to win the press conference, not actually the division. So, you know, the Padres and Mets and Yankees, I mean, the Mets sold at the trade deadline. So, you know, they're all just accepting their fate. But it's good to see the Phillies. You know, they kind of just went around. They just kind of paid their players as they came up. And the ones they traded for, they re-signed. You know, they're not necessarily going out and buying it, with the exception of Trey Turner, which they got in free agency. But he's an awesome story. You heard
Trey
about
Turner?
the Trey Turner
I
story?
haven't heard about it, but
So he was having a hard year. You know, he's kind of like the USA's hero in the World Baseball Classic, right?
Yeah.
Like, we were going to get eliminated against Mexico, and then he hit a 3-run bomb, right?
Yep.
Well, he's had a terrible year so far for the Phillies in his first year with the Phillies. And they were booing him, and he felt it, and he was just not performing well. And a broadcaster, local radio guy, said, "Let's give him a standing ovation. Let's not boo him. Let's give him a standing ovation." They came out, gave him a standing ovation. He hit a home run, and he's been on an absolute tear ever since.
That's actually really cool.
It's a great story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Philly fans are not known to be, I mean, they're known to be pretty rough. I believe they're the ones that booed Santa.
Little rough around the edges in Philly. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, good on them to get behind a player and really do a great job. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and pivot over to Anaheim Angels, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Angels, you know, it gets a little bit worse for them. Not only has it been a string of bad luck, but it's not really bad luck. The team's just not ran properly. Not only have you had 7 seasons of Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout and still haven't had a winning season, not once, but it is likely that, you know, Ohtani is probably not going to sign back with the Angels. I think every time we have a show, I think my percentage of him re-signing with them goes down by about 5%.
So what is he currently at?
I'd say 25%.
Oh wow, it's going down
Maybe
deep.
20.
It's going down deep low now.
Yeah, I actually have my top 5 coming up for Shohei Ohtani, where he goes. And,
Excellent.
So, but yeah, so not only did he went down with a UCL tear, which may or may not require Tommy John, may or not require some type of constructive surgery, but some type of surgery is inevitable. So you also lose him as a pitcher, but you also lose Mike Trout, again, the exact same day that he goes out. Mike Trout goes out again for a wrist injury. It gets a little worse. Did you hear about what's going on with Mike Trout?
I heard that the Angels have opened it up to actually accept trade offers for him. But does Mike Trout want to be traded?
That's a very good point. So I'd like to dive into that a little bit. Mike Trout has only had 1 postseason at bat at a wild card game. So he had like maybe 3 or 4 at bats in the postseason. And the closest he's gotten to playoff baseball was the World Baseball Classic, and he absolutely loved it. I think he got a taste for what meaningful baseball is, and I'm willing to bet you, not necessarily truly, I'll bet you a Snickers, because again, we're not giving betting advice on this channel. It's not what we do. I'm willing to bet you a Snickers that he will waive his no trade clause to go to a contender.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, but the Angels did make sure that they put it out this way, that if Mike Trout requests a trade during the offseason, they would listen to offers, but only in that case.
Right.
They're not saying, hey, we're listening to offers on Trout. They did say if Trout wants out, we would listen to offers, which is basically the cowardice way of saying we're listening to offers on Mike Trout.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know what you think. What do you think about that?
I guess my opinion here is I've seen a ton of stuff that Mike Trout is a very, very loyal baseball player. I think he wants to be with the Angels. I mean, they did agree to pay him a 12-year, $426.5 million contract, which goes all the way through 2030. And the purpose of that contract was so that he could retire an Angel. Like I've said in past episodes, I hope that there's still some loyalty in professional sports where it's not all about winning a championship. Maybe push the front office, continue to try to build a team, but and I hope he stays with the Angels. I don't want anybody to just leave and chasing a championship.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's what this is. I honestly don't think with Ohtani or Trout, if they do want out, you had chances, man.
Right.
They keep making the wrong moves over and over and over again. I think if you want Ohtani and Trout to stay in Anaheim, you sell the team. You've proven, Artie Moreno, you've proven that you cannot run a professional baseball team. You're giving Anthony Rendon, a guy who's only played, he's been in Anaheim for 4 years now, and he's only played 100 games.
Right.
A reminder, there's 162 games a year.
Yeah.
So
he's had plenty of chances to play in games.
And he's assaulting fans. And he traded for Lucas Giolito, which was a good trade. But you didn't do your homework on whether or not he was on a downswing for the year, if he was burned down or not. You didn't make the effort to go for Ohtani, to show Ohtani that you're going to go for it. And then you just basically dumped all your players in a move to save money so you could be under the luxury tax threshold. So
that's a bad look.
It's a bad look to show
real
loyalty
bad
to your
look.
players.
Yeah.
And now you're saying we'll listen to offers on for Trout. I don't know, man. That doesn't look good to me at all.
It doesn't look good to anybody.
If I was Trout, if I was Ohtani, I'd be like, yeah, no.
Yeah, we're done here. Check it out. I don't know. Like I said, my stance is I want players to stay with teams. Any professional sport, I think loyalty is something that's missing from everything. But
all right, well, let's go ahead and wrap up baseball talk with where I think Ohtani's going to go. You want to hear it?
I do.
The top 5 is as follows. We'll start with number 5. Number 5 is he stays in Anaheim.
Number 5.
I think because the reason we talked about before, he's got other things outside of winning that makes it the reason why he wants to be there. It's close to Japan on the West Coast. He gets preferential treatment, with that team, with that organization. Doesn't have to do as much press. Doesn't, everything. He's comfortable there.
Yeah, the Angels are taking good care of him.
Taking great care of him.
Yeah.
So I think that's still the top 5 of teams to get him.
What about number 4?
Number 4, the New York Mets.
The New York Mets?
Yeah. I mean, the owner of the Mets, he's the richest owner in baseball. He's thrown a crap ton of money at the Mets this year. Did not play well. He's paying a bunch of their contracts going forward, and he's clearing a bunch of salary so he can go hard after Ohtani. I definitely believe that their Mets are going to make an offer. And the only reason why they're down so low, because they actually will pay. All these 5 teams will pay the same amount of money to Ohtani.
Absolutely.
It's just whether or not I think he's going to accept it. So they're definitely going to make a max offer to him. And I think the only reason why he doesn't accept it is because they're an East Coast team and it's too far away from Japan.
Okay, what about number 3?
The Seattle Mariners.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yep, still on the
West
Coast.
Yep.
And he also summers in Seattle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Seattle is a beautiful place,
yeah,
just for the record.
It's also the shortest distance between there and Japan. It's Seattle Airport. So it makes sense that he likes to be close enough to where fans from Japan can come see games. So the West Coast is important to him. So I have the Mariners at number 2. Number 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Ooh, is that just part of your little Dodger heart hoping that he comes over to the Dodgers?
I would love to have Ohtani on the team. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. The money is not a problem. I think, in a large market like Los Angeles, an international market like Los Angeles, the Dodgers and the Yankees are the 2 most internationally known franchises in baseball.
Absolutely.
Right? You put Ohtani on the back of that jersey, and you're going to be selling enough jerseys to cover his contract by itself. So I don't think money is going to be an issue. The main reason why I think the Dodgers have the second greatest chances is because a lot of people are saying the only reason why he chose Anaheim over LA is because at the time when he came over, there was no DH in the National League.
But
there's been a DH in the National League for 2 years now. So,
boom, problem solved.
Yeah. So likelihood of him, the Dodgers are going to offer him a max contract, even just as a hitter. He's going to come back as a pitcher, So again, Aaron Judge got $400 million.
Anything else on defense?
Yeah, that's another thing. You could put him at first base. You can put him at outfield.
Yeah. I was going to say, it seems like I've seen him play other positions. Yeah.
I don't know if he ever has, but he is probably the one of the best athletes I've seen out there in the world right now.
Just a ridiculous athlete.
Literally, you put him anywhere except for maybe shortstop, he'll probably be the best at that position. So,
and honestly, you could probably put him in one of those positions and extend his career 5 years easily.
Yeah. So, you got Freeman, who's got another 5 years on his contract. Once he's gone, you could probably move Ohtani over to first base. Not that I want Freeman to retire, Dodgers. So Freddie. Anyway, but yeah. So Dodgers number 2. Number 1. Do the number 1 thing one more time.
Number 1.
The San Francisco Giants are my top spot.
The Giants are the number 1. It's West Coast.
West Coast.
They got plenty of money to pay that man. They have been trying for years to get a big name in San Francisco. It goes all the way back to Bryce Harper in 2019. They offered Bryce Harper more money than anybody else. Oh, really?
They offered Trey Turner more money than anybody else.
We just need anybody.
They signed Carlos Correa to the fattest contract for a shortstop ever in baseball history.
And then
backed up because he realized he only had one leg. And so they backed off of that. So that was smart.
2 legs is very important in baseball,
especially for a shortstop.
Yes.
So they backed off of that. Smart on their part. And then from there, they also went and hard after Arson Judge. If you saw a previous video. But yeah, so they have gone after talent like crazy, and they've been waiting for this. And Farhan Saidi, their president of baseball operations, used to be co-president with the Dodgers and Freeman. So he knows how to build a team. He knows the right way to go about it. And he knows in San Francisco, they need a star, man. They need a star on that team to really separate themselves. So I honestly think they have the best shot of any team in baseball to sign him. And I think he would potentially pick them over the Dodgers just simply because of the more small market type team. They do have winning pedigree. They won like 3 World Series like 10 years ago. So it's relatively recent. So yeah, that's my top 5.
Excellent. I like it, man. Nice. I think I like the Mariners best for him. I think just based on the Japanese fans being able to come in and out easier, like I could see that being a huge selling point for Ohtani.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely. Yeah, that's I think it's a good chance there. That's why I put them at number 3. The only reason why I put the Dodgers and Giants ahead of them is they both have more of a historical presence of winning in baseball. They're more like the Seattle Mariners haven't been very much in the postseason.
Super
recently.
relevant, right?
Yeah, so that's the only reason why they're 3rd. But
makes sense.
Yeah. Anything else on baseball before we move on?
That's what I got, man.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to a little bit of
set change. We're back.
All right, so let's go ahead and pivot over to a little bit about let's talk about our Utah Jazz and USA basketball.
This one could be painful, my friend.
This can be painful, but we're actually, you know what? We're gonna fix it for our fans right now. That's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna break it down. We're gonna tell you why.
Exactly.
Why
we lost FIBA and how we can fix it.
Absolutely.
How we can fix it for sure. But so let's go ahead and first talk about it. I think there are really 3 or 4 main categories for why USA basically just kind of what the bet here.
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So what's your takeaway from Team USA's loss here?
So I mean, just to recap, they obviously lose a game, go into the bronze medal game against Canada.
Mm-hmm.
They lose to a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander team that looked really, really good. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wasn't even the star in this game against Canada.
No, who was?
Mr. Dylan Brooks.
Absolutely. And you know what? I gotta applaud him, man. I gotta applaud him. He did exactly what it took. By the way, he had the best shooting night of his career, by the way.
It absolutely took the best shooting night of his career to beat Team USA.
Yes, but he knew exactly what it took to win this game, and he made it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
He realized that the USA team lost to a Canadian team. That honestly, if you line these 2 teams up next to each other, the US Team USA had a lot more all-star talent on their team than Canada did. No offense to Kelly Olynyk.
It's true, but I do want to point out that the USA had some injuries that kind of killed them.
Right.
So all the way through this tournament, they've been playing Jaren Jackson Jr., Paulo Banchero,
mm-hmm.
and Brandon Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of them out against Team Canada.
Fair enough. We did fight some injuries coming around, but we should never have been in that position in the first place.
Absolutely.
So I think that's kind of a big piece of there. I would like to point out that one of the first things that I've noticed on this is that in all their losses, they were out rebounded, and it wasn't even close.
Hey, who do you think could have helped with all that rebounding?
Oh, gee, I don't know. How about a guy who has a size advantage against all the other European players? Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, you got some players who played the center position that are odds on a better all around player and will have a higher WAR than our boy Walker Kessler would have. But I guarantee when it comes to boards and defensive presence in size in the paint, yeah, Walker Kessler was the move.
Walker Kessler was very badly missed on the floor. Any minute he wasn't there.
Yeah. Averaging 8 minutes per game.
It's just not enough, man. I mean, the dude's too talented to not be on the floor when you're getting killed with size and athleticism.
Size, athleticism, and being out-rebounded on the boards, like on both sides of the ball. Kessler's in there. I guarantee you he'd average a lot more than 5 rebounds a game.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, Walker. We had your back, bro. If you were out there, we know that you would have done much better and gotten Team USA much closer. Probably would have given them at least a win on his own, on himself there for sure.
Yep.
So, you got anything else in regards to rebounds or defensive toughness? Or
no, I mean, that was just tough to watch, man. It's really difficult to watch a Team USA go out there and not do. You're expected to win every single game as Team USA. And Absolutely. I understand that's a lot of pressure. And these are a lot of young players. But Team USA is expected to win every single basketball game.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go ahead and pivot to my number 2 option here, right? Number 2 reason for why Team USA lost is we had no floor general out there. You can literally watch on defense and watch defense break down on switches.
Yeah.
There is nobody in the paint calling out switches, calling out screens, calling out, move here. Hey, go there, go there. It's all coming from the coaches. No floor general on that team whatsoever.
Yeah.
They did not have they did not have a Kobe. They did not have a Draymond Green. They did not have Carmelo Anthony, whose international basketball prowess is by far probably the best part of his whole career.
Right.
Was how he played in international basketball. You needed a team floor leader like that. You needed somebody with a little bit of nastiness. You needed somebody that had that Dylan Brooks type nastiness to him.
Yeah, I mean, when you're relying on Austin Reeves and Mikal Bridges to, get your final shots and take you into overtime, that's not a great look for Team USA.
No, it's not. No, it's definitely not. And and it just was not there. Here's my ultimate way to fix Team USA in this tournament. Coaching. Now, Steve Kerr's my guy, Dodger fan. Absolutely love him, right? You switch the head coach and the first assistant's coach. I think Spoelstra would have had a lot better chance of leading this team to victory for Team USA than Steve Kerr did. Steve Kerr has only ran teams with 5 all-stars on them,
Well, and he's also been really successful coaching a small ball type atmosphere, right? I mean, that's what he's had. He's had Draymond Green on his team his whole coaching career.
Right, running the 5, right.
Yeah, running the 5. I mean, Draymond Green's not huge. So I think that's what he knows and what he kind of stuck to. And that's like ultimately what led to the demise of this Team USA basketball. Right?
I would agree. I think Spoelstra would have done a much better job because he's on a team that had, Jimmy Butler and then a bunch of great role players on it. So.
And really, that's all you have on this Team USA.
Yeah.
Right. All you had was a bunch of great accessories to superstar players because, we all know the superstars aren't coming out to the FIBA World Cup.
Right.
So,
that's exactly what Jimmy Butler said. He says, I don't care about FIBA World Cups. I care about.
It's not the Olympics.
It's not the Olympics. Exactly. Yep. But that's the problem is that let's go ahead and talk about that. So this is not our A squad. You don't have the best players, best American-born players on this team. We know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what you also don't realize, but a lot of fans probably don't realize, is we didn't get the best of the international talent either. Did you see Jokic playing in this tournament?
Nope.
No, you didn't, did you?
Nope.
You didn't see Giannis playing in this competition, did you?
No, sir.
What about Victor Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert on the French team?
Not happening.
Yeah. So, the international teams are going to be much better in the Olympics than the USA team is going to be. And obviously the USA team is going to be much better as well. But the competition is going to get a lot harder as well.
You obviously saw that LeBron's talking about bringing Team USA together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So as of just yesterday, it's reported that LeBron is looking to get Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis. I mean, he's looking to put together, Steph, Draymond. He's looking to put together Dream Team version 2 to go to the Olympics in 2024. I
would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that because honestly, whoever's calling the shots there, I mean, we did not pick the right team for this. I mean, no offense to the players that showed up, but we did not bring the best distributors and point guards.
And this kind of holds a point because you saw that track athlete that had made the comments about any NBA team that wins saying that they are world champions. And he said, world champions of what? The United States or the NBA?
Yeah. See, that's a good question. That's a good take on it.
Well, he took a ton of backlash for this.
Yeah.
Right? Because the NBA is the best basketball league in the world.
Yes.
But the world is becoming a very talented basketball place.
Yeah.
Right. So for us to reassert our dominance and say that we are the best basketball country in the world, LeBron and Team USA need to go to the Olympics in 2024 and absolutely obliterate every single team that gets in front of them.
See, I think that needs to change the mindset. I think if you want to play in the Olympics, you got to play in FIBA. I think there need to be a qualification.
I agree, but I don't think you're ever going to convince that. Yeah,
we need to dominate the world stage
on every level,
every time.
Right. But when the Olympics come, and if LeBron is fielding a team of NBA superstars from the United States, they need to absolutely obliterate every single team that's in front of them. We're talking 40 to 50 point deficits. We're talking just murder them dead.
30 points plus every game.
Yeah, regardless. I mean, it needs to be absolutely ruthless.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's what they need. And honestly, again, they need to switch the head coaching because they just came with the wrong game plan. I appreciate everything that Steve Kerr does for the Warriors, and but honestly, they just had the wrong approach. They had the wrong players out there when they were easily getting bullied off the block and getting out rebounded. You need to walk. You had the guy on the bench, and you didn't use him.
And you got to make a change at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like we saw this through the whole tournament that they were getting beat. They weren't. I mean, these games were way closer than they should be with even just the USA talent that we had out there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make a change. Put your team in a position to be successful. Come on, Steve Kerr. You're a better coach than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of LeBron James, basically building a super team.
Yeah.
Did you hear John Stockton's comment, Jazz legend, about LeBron being the GM moniker that he has?
I did. And for you guys that didn't see, and I quote, he said, "It would be maddening as a teammate to know that you can be expendable for one of his guys he thinks he needs to play with."
Exactly. So now, one thing you got to love about John Stockton is that he very rarely does press.
Absolutely.
And when he does,
since he's retired, he's really, hasn't done anything.
Since he hasn't been contractually obligated to.
Yeah, exactly.
And when he does, he is honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people are, saying, oh, he's just coming out and, get off my lawn type scenario. But, let's not say that LeBron's the only one who does this. And he did make a point to say, now I can't say concretely, saying that LeBron is organizing teams and stuff like that, but anybody with two eyeballs and a pulse knows that that's exactly what's going on. He may not be in the room with the GM, orchestrating trades, but I guarantee you his agent is.
Well, that's exactly Rich Paul's job is to behind the scenes manipulate teams into getting players that LeBron James wants to play with.
Absolutely.
But and to be clear, LeBron James is not the only superstar in the league that has a voice in the front office. There's a ton of superstars that are going to try to voice their opinion and get players that they want to play side by side with, right? I think it makes the league. Utah,
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, exactly. Eric Pascal was a perfect example. The only reason he played for the Jazz is because he was best childhood friends with Donovan Mitchell.
That's right.
So it's going to happen, but at what point do you not want to see players doing front office jobs?
I would argue this on the way out already. You already saw the Lakers not go in with what LeBron demanded last year. They made the trade that basically made the team better and made them the best team down the stretch after the trade deadline last season.
Yeah.
And they went against LeBron's choices of trading their first round draft picks for 2 years to try and get, who was up for that trade? Oh, they were trying to get Kyrie. He wanted Kyrie on the team.
Again.
And the management refused to do it. They went out and made a better move than what LeBron wanted, and put them in the position to be in the playoffs that they were. So I don't know. I think a lot of people are taking Stockton's comments out of context. I think he was asked a specific question and he answered that question.
Absolutely.
It's not like he showed up on this podcast and basically just ripped in LeBron James.
No. And it was a very, very short stint too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally a question, a response, move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Not exactly the most controversial statements John Stockton's made in the last year. Just saying.
No kidding.
But we don't need to get
in there. But
Saint Stockton, man. Yeah, for sure.
The fact is,
statue.
I mean, we both know that LeBron's built teams with limited success so far, right? He joined the Cavs in 2014, and he really wasn't interested in playing with Andrew Wiggins. He wanted to go the Kevin Love route. So what do the Cavaliers do? They make a trade, send Andrew Wiggins to Minnesota, and they get Kevin Love. What do you know? A couple of years later, the Cleveland Cavaliers won the title in 2018. Yep. The same thing happens when he goes to LA. He didn't want to. I mean, he says he wanted to go to LA. They had dude, think of the core that they had. They had Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and Josh Hart. Those are a lot of really young, talented players that were on the front sides of their career.
Those are some all-stars that you just named off right there.
Absolutely. And what does Kevin Love do? Or I'm sorry, what does LeBron James do? Let's get rid of all of them.
Get rid of them.
Move them all to New Orleans. I want to play with Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Now,
with that being said, the Lakers do win the title, and in the coronavirus season of 2020, which has a gigantic asterisk next to it.
It's literally a Mickey Mouse ring.
Doesn't count.
Literally a Mickey Mouse ring.
Doesn't count, bro. There's a big asterisk.
Well, I think it counts. It just doesn't count as much as
a count.
No, I think it does count because it is a championship. All teams had a shot. It just doesn't count as much as a regular championship would. And it is literally a Mickey Mouse ring because it happened at Disney World. So
it happened when you don't have to fly.
What are the odds that the oldest team in the NBA actually wins the title when they don't have to worry about it?
And they look like absolute trash the next year.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I just, I just think that we need, as far as what LeBron James does to put together a team, I think when he's in his prime, would you do what you need to do in order to get LeBron James on your team? Absolutely. Absolutely. To bring him to Miami, to bring him back to Cleveland, to bring him to LA, you do what you got to do to get him on your team. At this point in his career, would any team do that for LeBron James? Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
Is there a player in the NBA that a team's going to do that for going forward? Absolutely not. I don't think there's a player out there that a team is going to mortgage their entire franchise because they saw what happened with LeBron James over the last 15 years. Yep. Yeah, you may win one title, but then your team is decimated after that. Cleveland did make the playoffs last year. I did get bounced in the first round, but it is, I don't know. I don't see that thing. I see that change I see that being the rarity versus the norm going forward.
I totally agree.
You got anything else on this?
That's what I got, man. Sorry, I got a little passionate there.
No, it's good. It's good. I like the passion. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with Utah Jazz basketball coming around in the next 3 weeks is what everybody's going to – people are already reporting. We did see John Collins saying much love at the airport and shaking old ladies' hands and stuff like that. Dude, super excited.
Isn't it so good to see the Jazz players hiking up in the mountains and in training camp and getting, I am so excited for Utah Jazz basketball to start, dude. Yeah. it's so exciting.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. This team is going to overperform. You watch. We're calling it this year that the Jazz are not only going to be a play-in team, they're going to be a playoff team where they get to avoid the playoff.
The Utah Jazz will be a playoff contender this year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. They're going to be in it. They got a chance to get out of the first round. This team's talented. They're deep. You've seen it from all of their international players that performed absolutely fantastic at FIBA. Simone Fontecchio had a fantastic FIBA series.
Absolutely.
And these guys are going to get chances on this roster to play good basketball and contribute to this NBA team.
The problem is I think Fontecchio kind of ruined the chances for some of our rookies to get, some of the drafted rookies to get a chance out there.
I think if these guys can outplay him, they're going to have a chance. And really, as a Utah Jazz fan, all I want is the absolute best product on the floor.
I just want the energy and effort that we had last year from this team.
Yep.
I think if we had the same energy, the same effort, Will Hardy leading the way, I think that you're going to see the exact same results, just more wins.
Yep.
That's why
more wins. They're going to
wins.
They're going to play more together. They're going to have a better idea of where players are going to be. I think John Collins is going to fit flawlessly into this offense. I think he's going to have a switch flip and be a defensive presence more than he has been in previous years. And I think this Jazz team is set up for success.
Absolutely. He doesn't have to carry the defensive load on this team.
No, he doesn't. He's not forced to, but just being a defensive minded and being aware of where players are and putting in a little bit of defensive effort can make this Jazz team from the product we saw last year into the next step. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely. All right. With that said, folks, that will wrap it up for us today. Go ahead and let us know in the comments down below what you think. Do you think we missed anything with Team USA basketball? Is there some positives that we need to take out of that versus, we mainly focus on the negatives here on this episode. We usually don't like to be Debbie Downers, but let us know. Do you think we're right?
There wasn't much to love.
Yeah. Are we why the Walker Kessler thing? Was he underutilized? That would have made a difference for Team USA? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Also, folks, we are going to start a vlog series where we're going to go around and do the top 5. So leave a comment down below the top 5 places to catch a Jazz game locally in Salt Lake City, because we're going to go ahead and take the top 5. We're going to review them, and we're going to do some in-person type vlog action there. So let us know in the comments down below where you think the best top 5 places are to catch a Jazz game. Anything else?
That's what I got, man.
All right.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like it. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. We got the giveaway. We're looking forward to giving that money away.
Absolutely. And again, folks, if you're watching this on YouTube, keep in mind the full episode is available as a podcast. You'll see it on that side. Well, we'll link to the full podcast series. You can watch this episode in its entirety. If you're listening to this as a podcast, make sure you rate and review. And we are available wherever you find your podcasts. Once again, folks, thank you for tuning in. My name is Darren. That is AJ, and this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.